Not yet. And we are live. Everybody got their water though.
See you there.
I just want to sponsor Volvic, even though I'm not sponsored, but just in case they're watching.
Get
Don't
that
have us
sponsorship.
talking before we
Sponsorship.
start. Man.
You never know what can happen.
Are they? I was going to say, are they paying you?
They're not, but they never know what can happen.
By His grace.
I'm open.
Come on.
By His grace, exactly.
Well, Kirkland is doing it for us right now.
Is that what you want to be sponsored by?
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. I'm going to go and talk to Costco a little bit later.
We are home.
When should I expect my cut?
Say again?
When should I expect my cut?
Well, this is it now. We've got to talk business.
Yeah,
Come on
trust
now.
me.
You have to drink of the same water, sir. The same fountains.
We are live, guys. We are live.
Oh, well,
Alright.
my bad.
Yeah.
We need to forget the audience just for 5 minutes.
We're having a Zoom party. You get me?
All right, here we are. Listen, I want to thank you all for coming and joining us today. This is Marriage, the platform where you know that we discuss challenging and have challenging topics. I'm tongue tied at the moment because I've got a lot of jokes in my head.
Oh, I thought it was because Juanita's in the room with you. That's my bad.
All right.
We talk about what you don't want to talk about. Do you know what I mean? And then you end up talking about it. So we try to cover areas that are dusty, that are dry, that have been kept in the dark for too long. In terms of your relationships, in terms of your single status, we want to cover the whole shebang. We want to look at divorcees. We also cover blended families.
Yeah.
And we do that on this platform, which is on YouTube as This Is Marriage UK. And it's also on Instagram as This Is Marriage UK. And we've been doing this for a while. And we are proud to say it's sustaining our own marriage. And we have had reports that it's sustaining others. So we are so grateful. And we give glory to God for it. But we have friends in the room.
I just want to point out, good friends, it's an honor. I'm saying again because I'm a kind of guy that appreciates people. It's an honor to have you on, and I know you're going to get real. I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself though, and if you don't do it properly, I'm going to hot you up. Do you know what I mean? Welcome, Nadia. We'll start off with Jamshed, my good friend Jamshed.
Yes.
What are you saying? Who are you? What are you about? What do you do?
I'm Jamshed. My name is Jamshed. I am a work in policy, close friend of Curtis and Juanita. And I'm testament to the blessing that their platform is. Like, they've mentored me in so many different ways for a while. So, bro, the pleasure's mine to be on the show with you guys and to share this platform. But yeah, that's me, man. Just I'm a Muslim, young guy, South London, born and raised.
That's it.
Thank you.
And you know what? You're definitely getting a cut, bro.
I like that.
Harriet.
Yo, what's up? I'm Harriet Owusu. I'm a certified empowerment career and life coach. Just saying. I'm a mother. I'm also a project manager.
Okay.
What else I got going on? I'm originally a Hackney girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
Call it that.
Oh,
Kojo, we got problems.
I'm south. Sorry, I'm south.
East London all day, every day.
Come on.
And yeah, I'm just here to keep it all the way real as much as I can. And you know,
Okay, yeah,
is
all
it.
right. It's
Time to drink that water.
I got my water ready. This is sponsored by the filter of the government.
Yeah,
Thames water.
yeah. You never know. You never know.
You know,
You could be a next ad.
Thames water might give you a cut. Do you know what I'm saying?
Thames water, yeah.
yeah.
Thames water, big,
So,
big.
but filtered. Yeah,
Alright,
you can't have
okay.
it straight from the tap.
No, you can't.
You just lost that endorsement.
Yeah. Oh, damn. They'll come back. But yeah, that's me. I'm so happy to be part of this ministry and just to have the opportunity to be with you guys. Like, I'm such a fan. I'm not married yet. Father God. By His grace. But I've learned so much from you guys. And yeah, it's an honor to be here. I really appreciate this time.
Lovely. Kojo.
Yeah. What's going on, man? Hey guys, yeah, as I said, I'm Kojo, aka Little Black Button 91. Very much like Harriet and Jamshed, I've been blessed by the This Is Marriage UK, because I'm now single, guys. So, testament to how great they've Jake. They've been amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you. As a young man, yeah, I've learned so much. And I said this to Curtis last time. Even just doing the lives of him for the last few months has been just opening my eyes to things that maybe as a single individual person, the areas of selfishness that are there that you don't even realize are there. Just having those conversations and really hearing a different perspective has really opened my eyes. So I appreciate their platform. So make sure you guys subscribe to it if you're new to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And subscribe to me too. I'm Little Black But 91. All right?
Please do. And if anyone else has a website that they want us to link up to, come on now. Now's the time.
Harriet, come
All
on.
right, not a link website.
Not-
IG.
IG, yeah, I am Harriet Owusu on IG. You can catch me there.
Dun.
Yeah.
Dun.
Yeah, catch me there. But and also on LinkedIn as well. I work with a lot of professionals, so you can catch me on there as well. Yeah.
Come on now. So tonight, this afternoon, we are talking about love, to fall in love. And it's interesting. I mean, I know we're married. We're not here to give advice. Let's just be clear. We're not here to give advice. Actually, we're actually here to learn from you and for you to share and be frank about your journey, your perspectives on falling in love and love in itself. And a question I'm going to throw at you, the question I'm going to throw at you to start this off is, can you fall in love? You have to swallow that one slow. You got to chew that.
We are really promoting drinking water.
Stay hydrated. Gotta
Stay
stay
hydrated.
hydrated. Stay hydrated.
It's good
Can
for
you
brain
fall in love?
function.
Can you fall in love? Can I be honest? I think the term fall in love is obviously used quite a bit. I actually don't believe in falling in love. I think we all make a conscious choice. Like falling feels like it's a bit of a mistake. If I fell, I kind of tripped and fell into this. But I believe it's a very conscious decision that we end up loving people, whether it's right or wrong person that we're loving. I would like to say that we should be standing in love, but I can understand why we say falling in love, because oftentimes most people are actually tripping into this. They are subconsciously making choices consciously, if you get what I'm saying. So they choose someone subconsciously, but make a conscious choice and then said, I can't help who I fell in love with. You can, because you consciously chose. Let me leave it there.
Yeah. I would just add to that. When you say fall in love, it makes it sound unintentional.
Oh.
So what you're saying, there's an intentionality behind falling in love.
I would like to think that there should be. I understand when they say, "Oh, I just fell in love with someone," but I think it depends it's dependent upon your intention going into the situation that you're going into, and I think that has a lot to do with whether you fall or stand in love.
Yeah.
His breath way was like,
I got deep quick. It got deep quick.
We gotta go there.
I got winded, didn't
I think-
it? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, trust me. I think for me, you can fall in love, and I think it can actually be easier than you think. It is. In an ideal situation, you do make conscious decisions in terms of going into it with the right intentions and the doing it in a way that's suited to your pace and your culture, background, everything. But actually, for me, you can actually really fall in love very suddenly, unexpectedly, and start to. But then that opens up questions in terms of what type of love is that? What does it mean? What does it feel like at first? Like at first, some people can pass it off as infatuation or puppy love, or there's all these various different terms to kind of try to define the level or the pace at which you're doing things, but it's falling in love. And you can.
Yeah.
So let me add then. I think when you're younger and you're without experience, you will fall in love because again, it's subconsciously becoming conscious. You're making decisions on a subconscious level, which is becoming conscious. So you are liking someone, and there's a big difference between finding someone attracted and you falling in love with them. Because at that point where you fall, you made a choice to continue a process on a journey with that person to connect on a, let's say, emotional, mental level. So I think for me, falling in love from a perspective of being older than I was beforehand, I can remember my first love. I fell into that because I was not aware of who I was. When I became of a part where I've matured to knowing who I am and what I'm about, I can be very honest. I find many women attractive, but I don't fall in love with them. I can find them attractive, I can get on with them, but I don't fall in love with them because they don't match what I need. So then I realized that it's a powerful choice to make. But when you're not aware of who you are and you're just looking for some type of love, you will fall into it. You'll fall prey to it. Yeah.
I was just gonna add there that I think it's dependent on what your definition of love is. Because what we may define as love now may not necessarily be what was defined or what we defined love back in the day. And I think it's easy to say, oh, young people, the way they fall in love is about lust. But for them, that's how they see love. That's how they define it. And so it's not until you kind of get older and you start to recognize the values within yourself, the values in what you consider love should be or could be, that your view of it may change. So how you love now may not necessarily be how you loved back then, but does it mean it wasn't love then and now it's love? Because you're older. Like, do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking about my journey when I loved Robert Stratton, a little blonde boy with blue eyes. Sorry, Kurt. A little blonde boy with blue eyes.
What was this one here?
I was in the first year. You lot call that year 7 now.
Hey, we got to sit. All right, go on.
Robert, if you're out there, I'm
year
married.
7, you know.
Year 7. We didn't even call it year 7. We call it the first year.
The first year.
I loved Robert Stratton, man, for the whole of the first year. You know, and it was just the way he ran in the playground and kicked that football. That was enough. But me with this adult head now, just because you run in the playground and kick a football a certain way, it ain't enough.
Yeah, that don't cut it.
You know what I mean? Sorry, Robert.
So how would then have you define love now that you are adults? We're all in our 30s and late 20s, 30s, 40s. Sorry, not naming any names, but
and 40s,
late 40s.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing on the falling in love part? Yeah. Bro, it's actually like it's a beautiful thing, you know, to fall in love, because you know, as we get older, we start to become a little bit more controlling in our lives. And we want things a particular way, and there are certain green lights and certain red lights, and we put all of these barriers up here. But it's a beautiful thing to fall means you're not controlling this. And if it's in the right, you know, obviously we believe in God. I'm a Muslim. If it's within the right parameters, it's a very beautiful thing. Very, very beautiful thing. Like as I'm getting older now, I've had friends who have had like their first daughters, and when they speak to me about the love that they have for their daughters and how it grows, it's like, bro, I can't control walking into, I can't feel normal until I walk into the room and see it. That type of love. He's falling, I can see it every time I meet him. And it's beautiful. It's incredible. Like, falling in love doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. In fact, subconsciously, we may actually all want that in a sense, like to be in love in that way.
I'm thinking they use the term falling because I'm thinking about the actual feeling I had. Is that feeling of free falling? You just feel carefree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're open to anything. You're not seeing any flaws. So maybe that's where the term coming from, is that feeling what goes straight to your belly when you're like, ooh, I mean, if the front door opens even now and I'm not expecting Kurt for another hour and then he shows up an hour before, that falling feeling.
Amen.
Still happens.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Love to see it.
I need this love.
Parts of it. Right.
I'm at price though, bro. So then, how would then of you define love? And I know that love can be of various definitions, but you know, you're with a partner. What would you say the love is that you need to? How would you define that love that you're going to need in that relationship? Yes.
I mean, okay, I'll go. So for me, love is not an emotion. If you actually type it into Google, you'll find it's not an emotion. It's not part of the emotional will.
Google said it.
It's not. What we have are other emotions that contribute to make up to what love is. So your trust, happiness, etc., right? Different emotions. So for me, love is conscious choices that you are making. And in the process of what you're, so there's the initial feeling that you feel when you, let's say, potentially fall in love with someone, right? If we're using that term, is what we call the honeymoon phase, right? It's the initial newness, the new feeling of having something fresh, airy, light towards you, right? You get excited. This is the emotion you're feeling. I'm excited. I'm happy. And as the time goes on, as you get to know that person, you are starting to build what we call trust. In that moment when you're beginning to build that trust, this is where love begins to take a different kind of journey at this point, right? I would even like to surmise that beginning part, that feeling that you feel at the very beginning, I don't know if it's love. If it is a love, then it's what the Greeks defined as the eros or the ludus love, which is the playful or the sexual love, the sexual tension, right? I think a lot of us feel that initial attraction and pull to them. So it's a type of love. But I think as you begin to grow in the process of love, like I said, that key word that you want to have is that trust that begins to formulate. So for me, love is a conscious choice and action that I make to say, hey, do you know what? I'm willing to do this journey one more day. I'm looking to do this journey one more day with you, right? And I think because our society has made love an emotion, well, emotions do what emotions do. They go up and they go down. Therefore, I fell in and I fell out of love. I didn't fall out of love. I chose now no longer to be in it. Although it may seem like it was subconscious or it was just falling out of it. But you actually made a choice due to some of the events and the factors that have factored into your actual choice. So that would be my kind of thought.
I love that. I'm thinking about my progressive journey with Kate, although the feelings of the butterflies still remain, you know what I mean, 20 years in, I do understand that there is a process and a journey, and that a decision was made, a conscious decision was made in the midst of the feelings. There was a decision made, do you know what I mean? And that decision was based on many different factors and how far that would take me, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I get you, I agree.
It's interesting we feel that I don't know, are we all on a consensus that, well, the question of falling in love, before we go to where I'm going, Jamshed, you said that we can fall in love. Are you talking about the initial experience, or are you talking about something that happens within the relationship?
So I think falling in love, the way I meant it was the initial kind of beginning of it, because I think Nadia said it best just now. She commented that there's a difference between falling in love and growing in love. Because yeah, right there, that comment there, I think that's so I meant it in the beginning stages, because after the beginning stages, as it grows, you still have to make conscious choices, like Kojo was saying, to sustain that. You have to, it changes often. You have to grow with it. You have to, yeah.
So someone has mentioned here, actually, if I can find it somewhere, it's not love at first, it's actually lust. I think, Kojo, you might have said something like that. I don't know if you did.
Yeah. Eros love. Eros love is to do with that sexual kind of attraction, the attraction that you get.
And what role do you think, guys, that has to play? Physical attraction, sexual attraction, in the process, in a relationship? Is it a dangerous thing to follow? Is it a positive? Is it a negative? What do you think? You better sip your water, bro. And I'm not asking about sex, you know, so much.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Because you can have sex and not be in love, and not even, we've seen it, you're not even attracted to the person, married at first sight.
Yeah.
And so that can happen. So when I'm talking about eros, I'm talking about a genuine attraction. What role does then that have to play in a relationship at all?
You mean like chemistry?
Well, that's another term. That sounds like the term. Yeah. Okay.
Some would call it chemistry. I think for some people, they believe if you don't have it, then it can't. The relationship can't work. But I think that actually can grow. But I think again that comes back to the whole part what I was saying about intention. It can grow. I've seen friendships blossom into relationships, and they started out as just platonic friends, but it's now grown into a situation where they're in love with each other to be married. Do you see what I mean? So that initial chemistry or that initial spark, does it have to be there immediately? For some it doesn't, and for some it does. But it can grow if you want it to. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
It makes sense.
I just wanted to ask, does that mean then you switch on chemistry and you switch off chemistry then?
I don't think it's that you switch on or switch off, but I think it goes back to this whole idea of what you view love to be. I wouldn't be in a situation where I'm saying I'm looking for love. I'm looking out for love. So I'm looking out for certain qualities, or I'm looking out for certain behaviors. I'm looking out for certain tendencies. And those things can make you be like, hey, he's all right, you know. Do you get what I mean? Because they are presenting themselves in a particular way. Do you see what I mean? It's not just lip service. I can actually see it. Do you get what I'm saying? And so, my daughter texting me asking for the charger, you know.
That's love right there.
It's a type for love.
Well, this goes back to my other point as well, that I was thinking that for me, my definition of love is unconditional. And I experienced that with my child. I'm yet to experience that with another human being, where that love is literally unconditional. I could tell my daughter off in the morning and 5 minutes later, love you, mommy. And she genuinely means it. Do you get what I mean? And even if I'm honest, there's been times where she's done something and it's upset me. And I've had to check myself. Like the love is still there, but I've had to check my attitude. I've had to, okay, Harriet, she's a child. Like, come on. Do you get what I mean? But I have yet to experience that from another human being, whereby, not that I haven't experienced love, but I mean love with no judgment, no strings, no, oh, but you should have. Come and get the charger. Texting me 3%.
Just be you, sis. Just be you.
This is the real. You're welcome.
That's the love right there.
Listen, that's love right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's unconditional. Do you get what I mean? There's no hold bars. There's no restriction. Do you get what I mean? And it's not just lip service. I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. It's tangible. There's action behind the words. Do you feel what I'm saying? And so I think this whole thing about chemistry, like I said, it can grow. Because especially if you're around someone for a long time and you start to see certain qualities, like I said, I'm not looking for love, I'm looking out for love. So I'm looking out for, oh, okay, I see these things. Maybe it's something that I'm not even looking out for, but I just notice, because I know in my heart this is what I desire and this is what I'm looking for. And then all of a sudden, well, maybe not all of a sudden, but you see what I mean? The characteristics start to appear. Yeah.
Jamshid, did you want to say something?
No,
Okay, sorry. Because can you then love with? Are you loving someone if you are experiencing? Are you receiving love if you're receiving judgment at the same time? Because when you said, "I've never received love without judgment,"
maybe I didn't articulate that well.
No, I think you did. It's just saying, is that possible?
I think it is, but it depends where that judgment is coming from. I think sometimes when you hear the word judgment, it sounds heavy because you can correct someone in love.
Yeah.
But to judge them, like, I know I've been judged for having a child outside of marriage. But I know I've also been corrected for having a child outside of marriage. And I know the difference. I know when there was love behind it. And I know when there was judgment behind it. I know when there was condemnation behind it. Do you see what I mean? So it's not that. And then, and also at the same time, it could be just ignorance. They may feel like, yes, that's how they're loving me. But that's not necessarily how I receive it. Do you see what I mean? So I think that has a lot to do with it. Like I said, you can correct someone in love, but you don't judge them.
Okay, you saying.
So I have a question for you all, right? What have you learned about love at your age now? Different from the past. Different from the past. That will inform how you move in the future with your partner. Do you get the question?
So does this go back to what I was saying about your view of love changing from when you were younger to how you are now?
And what do you think that you will carry into? What do you plan to carry into your future relationship? It's a two-part question. It's a deeply reflective question.
Go again.
So the question is, what have you learned now at your age about love that you will carry into your future? That's a better way to ask it.
So for me, I think we briefly touched on this yesterday. I think my most recent revelation about love is through experiencing my love growing for various different people in my life and the different types of love that I can experience. And like, for instance, the other day, I used the phrase, my heart swells for X, Y, and Z. I've never used that phrase before in my life. I don't even fully understand what it means to say that, but it was the best way I could articulate how I was feeling in the moment. And it was towards my father. At the age that I'm at now, I realize the things that he went through to raise us. I have a better understanding of who he is. And it's like just a different type of love. And that love doesn't compare to the love that I have for you, Curtis and Juanita. That is a different type of love. And I'm experiencing that as we grow together. Similarly with my niece. And it's not a cop-out. I'm not trying to get out of the relationship questions. But it's just the most recent thing that I've learned about love. And that's teaching me, in terms of taking it into the future, is to be a lot more observant. Don't be so kind of quick to try and define and finalize things about love. Like, I think in Ecclesiastes, it says, it describes life in this way. And the most closest translation we have in English is meaningless, but it's not what it means. Like, the word is hevel. And it means that life, you can't, it's almost like a smoke. It's intangible. You can't grab it as it escapes. And then the rest of Ecclesiastes, and then that frames the rest of Ecclesiastes that goes into wisdom. But love is the same way for me. Like, I wouldn't want to define it anymore. I did when I was younger, but not anymore. I want to try and experience it in the best ways that I can and kind of grow from that. So that's
what you're saying is you don't want to box it up to limit your experience.
Yeah, I can't. If I was on this platform 3 years ago, the only thing I'd be talking about is relationships. In terms of romantic relationships, 3 years on now, the places where my heart swells is not just romantic relationships. You know,
that's a bit heavy.
That's good.
You have to let it sit.
That's good.
Anyone else? Like, what have you learned new? What is something that is profound for you that you're going to carry into the future? Someone here is saying, Artina is saying, I have learned that I am truly worthy of love, because sometimes people a lot of us don't even know what it is. We've never experienced it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am God's child.
Yeah.
That's very big.
So it's like we've sorry, Harry, because some of us have only seen it. We spoke about this on the show before. Shows back with Fuller, and some of us only know what love is because of what we've seen on TV, right? So you're trying to replicate that, and really, we're trying to say, look, this is. I mean, Jamshed's version of like, look, I'm open to what love really is. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm still growing in the game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us feel cheated in our experience to say, well, we haven't had love because it doesn't look like Hollywood's love. And so Hollywood love is, I always say, you know, you're walking down 42nd Street with a latte in your hand and you're still slim. You know what I mean? You're
Skipping.
You see, and this is the
Birds are singing.
Birds are singing. You see the guy, you know what I mean? He hails at the taxi the same time you hail at the taxi. You share the taxi. You end up in his Chris Loft conversion with the white sheets, in the white sheets, back out the white sheets, teeth not brush, and you go straight to work. You know what I mean? And that is love. And that is what we were fed.
Yeah.
That's what we grew up on. To say this is love. So when that didn't come, or when I didn't see that, then it was like, well, hang on, where's mine? How come I ain't getting that? But then I don't drink coffee, so how's it gonna happen? You know what I mean?
What were you gonna say, Harry?
I think I even lost my thought.
I can lash Kojo in a second if you want.
Yeah, we need to free me with the bird singing and the sheets.
The true thing. Ask the question again. Yeah, you have it.
Do you want me to ask it again?
Yeah.
All right. To whoever. So the question is, what have you learned about love now at your age, different from the past, that you will carry into your next relationship?
Okay. There's a good couple of things that I've learned. A good couple of things. But I think the main thing is, and I think this ties into what the young lady left a message, said that I am worthy of love. I'm not settling. I'm not. If we're talking about romantic relationships, because I find it easy. I find it easy to love, and for me, loving is giving. Yeah. And there was a time where I thought if I kept giving, I would get the love that I'm searching for in return. And when I didn't, I would keep holding on. I said, oh, well, maybe if I just do a little bit more, or maybe if I just, do you know what I mean? But I've learned that, and it sounds so cliche when you've got to love yourself first. But it's the truth. I think when you recognize that you are worthy of love, and I'm worthy of spectacular love, I claim that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? I claim that. And so if I can see that I'm in a situation and the direction it's moving in, and don't get me wrong, I've also learned I've got to be patient.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got to be patient. But being patient, that doesn't mean settling. And so I've learned to kind of understand the two and how the two go hand in hand.
Yes.
Do you feel me? So I can be patient, and I know I'm not perfect, and I know there's still things that God is ready to teach me. But I'm not settling. Like I said, spectacular love. Father God, bring that one. That's what we're waiting on. You feel me? But I'll be patient. I will, I'm not running into nothing just for the sake of having it. Because I know I'm loved, even though I spoke about not experiencing a particular kind of love, but I'm talking about in a romantic sense, I haven't. But in terms of, like I said, my child, my family, my friends, people that I really do hold close to me, I've experienced that love. When times when I really didn't love myself, I really didn't think loving me was the one, if you want to put it like that. But I've grown and I've come to know that, yeah, you can have that love and you're worthy of that love. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, that's what I've learned. But yeah, there's a couple of other things.
I was gonna say we might have time to hit some of those. I mean, we're gonna try.
Yeah.
But I just forgot to mention that Kojo's only here till about 15:15. So before he goes, he's gonna answer the question too. Because
No pressure.
no pressure,
No
but no one
pressure.
gets away.
I hear that still.
But yeah, what have you learned about love? Thank you, Harriet. We're going to come back to you, but on those points, Kojo, what have you learned? And let's just go there a second. You do so well in breaking down mindsets and attitudes and the sociological, psychological elements of humanity. You articulate and understand it far better than a lot of professionals. And for that, you get a medal. You get stripes from us because you're
The professor.
you're the man at that.
The prof.
And it's easy for us to say, you know, even professionals, we have all the knowledge in the world, and you could be married for 25 years and still not even understand just the fundamentals of it all. So we sit here learning from you. But what I'm asking you, bro, as someone who I think is able to articulate, I want to know what you've learned, because you're on this topic a lot. Relationships. What have you learned? And about and what you're going to carry forward. Yeah.
So love. How do we break this down for? So obviously, my first encounter with love is my parents, obviously, but my first full encounter with love is God, and that is where the standard is set. I think this is why I love Jesus the way I do, because that love, which I think Harriet even touched on about earlier on, is not experiencing agape love. And I would argue that I don't think any human being can show that agape love without God being in them, because it requires you to say at a point in time, I've got to die. Because love cannot exist without the sacrifice.
What do you mean?
have to-
Let's go there a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So from what I've seen, love comes with sacrifice, right? And so when we are interacting with one another, human beings, we die to self, because unfortunately all of us are flawed. And so in order for me to love you, I need to sacrifice potentially my pride. I need to sacrifice at times my emotions. Sometimes I need to sacrifice even me being right in order to further along the love that we may have. So love in its fullest extent for me, as I've learned over the course of the years, is that I need to learn this love from the source, because the standard that I have is flawed.
What's your
Totally.
standard? What's your standard?
My standard is dependent upon what I understand and what I've been taught. So it's flawed because the standard is capped at what I understand. I look at love as I do look at worshiping God. It's like you can only worship him to the understanding that you have. So when you have a limited understanding due to what your environment is, what you've suffered, what you've gone through with your parents, what you've gone through with friends, that's going to shape what you consider to be love. And that's why when we talk about the Greek kind of breaking it down into storage and the philo and the eros and the ludos, and then they finally got to the agape love, that unconditional love. I would say probably the closest thing that you probably experience is probably being a parent, where you unconditionally love your child regardless of what they do. They murder someone, you're still gonna be like, listen, I don't agree, but I love my child. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone came to murder your child, even if they've murdered somebody, you're gonna jump in the way, because that's the kind of unconditional love that you have for that child. So I think from man to woman, it's a very difficult thing to replicate that type of love, because we're talking about a bond that's blood. It's completely different to when me and you are working on the love that we have, a relationship that we have. I need to die to myself to be able to do that particular action. So what I've learned about love is, if you're not ready to die to self, you ain't in this game for love. You can't be. Because it will require sacrifice.
So the question is, and I'm going to throw this out to all you all. We've got 5 minutes with you, bro. The question I want to throw out to you is, how does one? Do we agree that we have to die to self? Is a question, I guess. Do we generally agree with that? So then, if that's the case, what does it mean to die to yourself?
It means to give up the right of sovereignty over yourself. The Bible talks about your body. Okay, my body is my wife's, my wife's body is mine. It means at that point in time when I'm relating to people, not just wives but anybody, when I'm relating to people, I'm going to have to sacrifice my want to be right, my want to be my want to have my needs met all the time, because inherently there's some selfishness in every single person, right? And sometimes we don't even know how far that selfishness goes until I meet someone else who then begins to rub up against me, right?
Yeah.
A friend, a brother, like, I don't know how you've all been there, right? You got a brother or sister and they do something to you and you look at them like you about to swear them down differently because they've hurt you so bad, right? And it starts to teach you when you're interacting with people how difficult love is to put in action, which is why I'm saying it can't be an emotion, because how I feel is changed by the external factors, but love is within. You have to act it out. It's not from outside in, it goes from the inside out. I have to act it out, therefore I have to make a conscious choice at that point in time. When you step to my toes, I'm gonna forgive you for stepping on my toes, because my Air Force Ones have got now a dirty mark in it, but I'm gonna forgive you. Okay, now I'm annoyed and I'm hurt because my trainers don't look exactly the same as they did before, and they're never going to return back to the original point. But I'm choosing to forgive you because I believe in this thing called love, and we all need it. So now I make this conscious choice, say, hey, do you know what? I will sacrifice my need at this moment to vent at you differently, to give you one rocking, you know what I'm saying? Like, to tell you what it is. I'm going to sacrifice that and say, okay, let me sacrifice that right there and go, do you know what? For the sake of the love that we have, I forgive you. Let's move forward. That's what I would say.
Can I say one small thing? Yeah.
Yes, bro.
What you just heard, yeah, in the past, like, 2 minutes, the captivating message, yeah. You guys need to follow this guy's YouTube channel, because that's what you're going to get on there non-stop. And before, he's being modest, because before we came live, I said to him, bro, your videos do bits in my group chats. So make sure you follow his YouTube channel.
Yeah, I love that.
Definitely.
Let's get that up so we can see what he's about.
Yes. So on Kojo is leaving now, right? But you can continue to follow him at Little Black Book 91 on YouTube and Instagram. He's been an inspiration to us, and also a newly found brother, and we have the total privilege of having him with us through the week as well. So, bro, thank you so much for being with us. God is with you. And
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Well, we will be continuing this conversation, so stay with us as Kojo leaves.
Yes, take care, bro.
Bless you, bro.
So that's beautiful. What do you mean by you're not settling?
I mean,
because the fear is, sorry, I left a pause there and I should have.
No, go ahead.
The question is having standards that are so high that you could miss out. Now, don't get me wrong. The truth is that we've all got different standards. And this is something that if anyone who's single, this is the balancing act.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no criticism coming from anyone at any point. I won't allow it. The question is, how do you strike that balance when you're not settling?
We spoke earlier about the things that we've learned about, or what have we learned from love, or what have we learned now that we've gotten older about love. And one of the other things that I said I've learned is forward moving. It's progressive. Not that love is changing, but there's a common ground that we both have as a couple to move forward, to move our union forward, to move our family forward, to move us closer to God. And if I can see that a relationship isn't doing that, if it feels stagnant, and sometimes it's even hard to articulate what that is, but when it's just not progressing, there's no movement. We're just Groundhog Day, literally just here, no development. You're not trying. I'm not saying someone has to change, but you're not trying to grow. I'm not trying to grow. therefore the relationship ain't growing. But for the sake of being in a relationship, you stay. For the sake of being in love, if you want to call it, you stay.
Yeah.
And that's settling. When you know, and this isn't about, oh, the grass is always greener, because the other thing I've learned is it takes work. It's not just a quick thing. It takes work. But where is the work, and where's the fruits of that work? How are we moving forward as a couple? How are we moving forward as a family? Because even if it's just the two of us, we're still a family.
Yeah.
So how are we moving forward? And so if I can't experience that, and again, this is about action, if I can't experience that, then we're settling.
You know, I like what you said before I come to Jamshed, right? I like you identified something that I think that some folk have not been informed about. True love. Probably I've never seen it. If they're in a relationship that they've been in for a while, one of the traps of settling is that you think, I don't want to start again. Or I don't want to leave this.
Yeah, been there.
And what happens is that they will stay in something that they know is bad, or they're not in a position to really fulfill that. And I like that you identified that, because I think that is a trap that a lot of people, and I think more women fall into that, probably because it's an emotional decision and women tend to be kind of more wired that way, but everybody is susceptible to that. What am I going to do?
Most of us want the best. We want the best out of any bad situation, right? And so we hold on believing that if I just one more time, just one more, like at the end of the year, the things are going to get better. But where's the cutoff point? Where's the point where you get to where you say, you know what, this is a dead end? When do you start turning the car around and taking another direction?
And that is the balance, because again, we don't want to miss out, because if we know this takes work, this takes work, and this is
took a sip.
This is it. This is a point to anyone to address, right?
Yeah.
This takes work. When I met Juanita, we thought we had it together, and I was like, "Then if you can do that,
That's an 80s move, bruv.
Come on with it."
We thought we were together, and then you realize how much work we're still putting in, just
To maintain, you still got to put work in. Much less to get on other levels. Yeah.
This is the thing, guys. I just want to throw it out to you, see what you think. I mean, Harriet, you're not wrong, because I don't think I think you're bang on.
I get where you're coming from.
I'm like, how are we striking that balance? Like, how much patience are you going to exercise with a man or woman to work with them? Do you know what I'm saying?
The patience that I have now is the same as the patience I had before. I've been in situations where I've waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. How much waited's we got? To the point where that's what I'm saying. Like, it's difficult, and I get it. It is about finding a balance. How do you stay in a situation and work on it? Work on it so that, because obviously it's not going to be perfect. It's going to take work. It's not going to be roses all the time. And my thing has always been, if I'm getting in a situation with someone, I want to know, can I do life with you? Like, when I've got to deal with life, or when we've got to deal with life, that's when it's got to take work. Do you get what I'm saying? The dates and stuff is nice, but can we do life? But at what point, when you can see it slap bang in your face, because sometimes it's as clear as day. Sometimes it don't take too much for you to realize, you know what, this is it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a difference between, and when I talk about doing the work, I know, Juanita, you like to say that, doing the work, and I love that. Are you both doing the work? It don't make no sense if I'm doing the work and I'm trying to push us along, and you're still, and I'm literally dragging a dead horse. How long do I want? Like, I'm not trying to be like Hulk out here, that I'm trying to stretch out these muscles and be dragging you every minute. Sometimes it's as plain as day, and it's in your face that this isn't it. This just isn't it. And if you are honest, completely honest, and say, I've given it all I can. I've done all I can do. We've both done all that we can do. But this is just it.
Mike S is saying settling is not being true to yourself
Oof.
and or your partner, and eventually it will come out in one way or another. It will.
Wow.
You can get married on that. You can get married settling.
You can
No,
get
sir. No.
Easy.
No.
That's very easy to
seen
do.
it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Time's ticking. Do you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
he's the one what's come on my face at this time.
Yeah.
You can do that and put a seal of commitment on that for life. And you can be settling for life, which is not good.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? It took me a long time to get to that place of, because I think, Curtis, you touched on it earlier, saying that in particular women will settle because obviously time's ticking and they feel like, oh, where's my husband? Blah, blah, blah. And a lot of the times it's because we don't want to be on our own, or what we feel being on our own.
Yeah.
But like I said, when does it get to the point where you sacrifice yourself so much for a relationship that is just not progressing?
That doesn't want to progress, you know?
Or doesn't want to progress?
You know, as you're going on to that, I'm thinking about self-love, and it's a word that has been, thrown around even more so over the past, I would say, 10 years. Love yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's all about you. Get yours first. I'm living in my truth. All these words coming out. I'm like, what do they really mean? I know that the Bible says you must love your neighbor as you love yourself. So the way you treat people is a reflection of how you're loving yourself. So I just want to ask you, Jam, how do you love yourself? How does that look? Because sometimes I feel that I'm not focusing on loving myself enough because I'm too busy in managing the household and everybody else. So people talk about loving yourself could be taking a long warm bath. Do you know what I mean? Or going for a walk. But what else does that entail? How do you love yourself?
It's interesting. The first time somebody told me that I need to develop self-love or to love myself was a couple of years ago. And I remember when I first heard it, I was like, what kind of middle-class Caucasian thing is this? Like, what's this? Love myself. You think I got time to learn? But the thing is, I've had to beef it, and I've had to learn that it's true. You do have to love yourself. And I've actually gone through I've gone through a journey of like establishing what that means for me. And I think it's actually very different from a lot of other people. But one of the ways that I love myself is try to maintain discipline, or to work on discipline.
Oh, no.
So
I'm saying, oh gosh, I am saying, oh gosh, because
I thought man was going to say he's going to clip his toenails, his ankles. You know what I mean?
groom his beard.
Man.
No,
Bro,
I'm
listen.
shocked. I'm shocked that you said discipline, because I was having a conversation with a friend this week, and I said, especially, I mean, we've never observed Lent growing up. We just haven't. The period of 40 days before Easter. But what it is I looked at it different and said, this is a period of discipline and control, self-control. And I recognized that I lacked discipline in so many areas of my life. It was something I was focusing on, saying, I need to have some structure. I need to have some, I'm structured in my life, but I need to have some inner structure, some inner disciplines where I'm just a bit more measured. I just want you to expand on that, because you're speaking straight to me, because this is a conversation I was having this week, and it went straight to the heart, mate.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, I'm blessed that you said that. So yeah, this discipline for me there's a lot in it. It's about like learning about the value that you possess as an individual, knowing your potential, knowing the things that I've committed myself to. I've committed myself to God in a way. I've submitted myself to God in a way. And in order to love myself, I need to actually maintain those commitments to myself and others. And me and Curtis have spoken about this extensively in terms of diet, like wanting myself to live a healthy life for the sake of my family members and for the sake of future generations. But in order to do that, it takes a lot of self-discipline daily. And it speaks also to Kojo's point about dying to yourself. Because all of these words, discipline, submission, commitment, the framework within which I see that is God and Islam and the Quran. And when you look at the prophets, the amount of discipline that they had for themselves, like it's just unparalleled. And that's what I'm trying to achieve long term. Like this, I'm talking like 40 years from now, if I live that long. Do you know what I mean? Self-love for me isn't just about the momentary todays. It's really a long-term thing. But don't get me wrong though, it's tiring as well. And you know, it's tiring because when you fall off that journey, you also have to love yourself, to coach yourself back onto it. Because I do fall off it regularly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you fall off, it's about speaking to yourself in a way that, you know, you would expect loved ones to speak to you or God to speak to you to get yourself back onto that journey. It's okay, man. And this is all full circle in, you know, what I said in the beginning about defining love and defining these things. Like when you start to place definition, like so when you start to place your own personal definition on things, you fall out of it and it's a mess. You'll be very harsh on yourself. So, yeah, man. For me, self-love comes with a lot of discipline, or attempting to be disciplined.
I was driving yesterday in the car in the evening. I'd just come from a work home visit, and I took my hand and I did that. You did all right, girl. I've never done that before. I mean, I think if somebody was driving past and I didn't do anything special, maybe I didn't have that bag of crisp on the journey, you know what I mean? But I just went, you did all right, man.
What did you do all right?
I did nothing, but you did all right.
You made it this far.
Yeah.
You did all right. You know what I mean? You did all right. And I love what you're saying in terms of the fact that you also have to love yourself back up.
Yeah.
This is when you're talking about discipline and self-love. I said, right, I'm going to fast. And, you know, I did it and I just said, wow. Like, no, don't say wow, because it's supposed to be a secret. Don't say wow, let my head get big. So, and then that discipline gone in the bin again. But did it and hit kind of like maybe 3 o'clock. And then Curtis he didn't know. I said, I'm not even telling Curtis I'm fasting. And he put the plate of food in front of me. And I just was like, it's done now, right? And I could feel my temper getting frayed and me just getting upset with the kids and stuff like that.
I can say, what are you fasting for? You need to be disciplined and love yourself.
and Kurt did say that. I said that in my mouth, and I said, Kurt, I'm fasting. He goes, let me take it back, and then I could feel my temper go, no, you don't take that food back. Leave it here. And I had the food, and I know I could have gone on longer, but I think what I learned in self-loving that day was, it wasn't me saying, God, I'm going to do 24 hours. I literally said, I need you every single hour on this. I need you every single minute on this. And I finished at 3 and I started to kick myself because I was like, you could have easily taken this to 8 o'clock, love. But I love the fact that you're like, love yourself back.
Yeah.
You did all right. The intention behind it was self-discipline. The intention behind it was to say, I'm going to give this up because there's somebody who doesn't have the option to give it up.
Wow.
Plus, the COVID belly could get lost. You know what I mean? But it was really, it's so pertinent that you talk about self-love as self-discipline, because it's an answer to a prayer. It's an answer to a prayer, that answer you gave. So without me barling, thank you.
Bro, I think you're going to say some more.
Nah, when you said it all, man.
So you didn't want to say anything? Sorry, my daughter's.
No, cool. So,
only when you're live, I want to talk to you.
I was gonna tell it.
Sorry, what was you saying?
I was gonna tell a quick story about how I came to that realization.
Yeah,
it's actually a funny one. So I procrastinate hard. The type of man I'm trying to be. is not a man that procrastinates, but I currently procrastinate quite a bit. I had a hole in my shoe, in a pair of loafers, and I discovered it while I was at work, and I knew that I need to replace these loafers. I've got the money for it. It's cool. I just need to go to the shop and get it done. Yeah. And then as I finished work and I was going to go, I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. Went home that day, forgot about it. Next day came in and I switched into the loafers at work. Yeah. Switched into them, realized I still got a hole. On the way home, got caught in a puddle and had a wet sock the whole way home. And I said to myself, if you were disciplined enough to get the loafers, you would be in this situation with a wet foot. And it was self-love. Like if I, self-love in that way would have been, go and get the shoes when you need them. And obviously you expand that onto bigger things with like fasting, like you mentioned, is really difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Someone's written here. Oh no, where is it? Some of us are taught how to love others, but not taught how to love ourselves.
It's true.
And the thing is,
what a shame that is. Yeah,
and the thing is, if you are doing it that way around, you're not actually loving, because you're supposed to love your neighbor as yourself. That's what Christ himself said. You love your neighbor as yourself. So you can't be doing it the other way around, giving out something that you don't have for yourself. It's not. Then it's not true love. We're learning it the wrong way around. We have to learn to love him with everything we have, our whole being. And then love others exactly as we love ourselves. And we love ourselves because it's informed by the way he loves us. And I'm learning that daily. And I'm at the place where I'm like, you've been in the game for a while now. You know what I mean? I won't say the years because it's long. But just accept, as the person put a hashtag earlier, I am God's child. Accept it. Even when you fall, allow him to bring you back to that place when he accept that you're loved. And that will make so much of a difference in your relationships, in your marriage, in the way you treat your children, the way if the neighbor parks too close into the drive, it will have bearing on all of that. And so I'm on a journey of this self-love without it being about myself. So without it being like, you get yours, girl, I'm loving myself, I don't care about anybody else. I'm in the journey of self-love where I'm accepting this love. And so I can give this love out and get it, and also keep getting filled with it to give it back out.
Harriet.
Yes. I'm just scribbling. I'm writing down something when it was saying. I was just writing it down.
You're catching the wisdom.
Yeah, no, I just
jam shed, so it looks like we're just sharing it around the thing, man, because this is an eye-opener for me, man.
Go ahead.
Truly.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Just as you guys were speaking, like certain things was coming to my head. It goes back to that thing about feeling worthy, isn't it? We're talking about self-love. If God himself says you are worthy, who are we to say we're not?
That's a question.
God, the creator of the universe, says, I created you as a masterpiece. And you're now going to come and doubt that? Who are you to come and doubt what the creator says? And so sometimes one of the things I've learned about self-love is to just be self-aware. I took part in this mindfulness coaching program. And one of the things the coach would say to me all the time was, be kind to yourself. And he always said it in that voice, be kind to yourself. Was
he saying it to you as for a reason, or was he just saying it?
He was saying it. And when we would have our one-to-ones, he would say, do you remember what I say in class? And I'd be like, yeah. He'd be like, yeah, be kind to yourself. Yes, discipline is 100% important. When we procrastination, it doesn't mean that you're lazy or anything. It's actually your body's way of protecting you from something, either from boredom or not feeling like you're worthy enough to do it or to have it, or the story you've told yourself that you have this inability to do what you're doing. So we procrastinate because we don't want to deal with those emotions. We don't want to deal with those feelings. We don't want to deal with that feeling of boredom. I want to be stimulated. I don't want to be bored. So I'm not going to do this thing. I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it another time. But when we don't do the things that we feel like we should do, we beat ourselves up. or you shouldn't have done this, or you shouldn't have, but you have to be kind to yourself. You have to be kind to yourself, because it's like you were saying, Juanita, how can we show love to other people? So what love are you showing to other people in comparison to the love that you're showing to yourself? What is the love that you're showing to yourself that you will now go and say, oh, I love everybody? How do you love yourself? Let me see how you love yourself.
This is a very important thing, what we're talking about. It's something that rings for me all day long. And it is this. It's a very simple comment or quote: "You cannot give what you do not have." And man, at least, no less, maybe Jamshed for you, I don't know, but at least in the Black community, forgiveness is a rare thing. When you're growing up as a child, it's the belt is your.
I ain't done that for a bit.
You understand?
Yeah.
And
Same
so
over here.
we right, okay. So we pass that on to our children.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, and I remember years ago. I remember years ago, I recognized that my parenting style wasn't in line with scripture.
Wow.
So I'm like teaching it was really more the firstborn, because she was earlier on in the years, right? You're saying God is love. So when you do your devotion with them, you're saying God is love. God loves you no matter what. God is light. For God so loved the world that he gave his son, and that he cast your sins into the bottom of the ocean. But then sometimes our parenting style doesn't match up to the scripture. And I'm like, what? I learned, and it clicked. It didn't manifest immediately, but it clicked. My actions and the gospel have to be one. And so in a relationship, I have to reflect. Like, if love is a principle, for example, we get that from scripture. If love is then a principle, then loving yourself needs to be a principle as well, that we have to make a choice about in the same way we choose to love. And if loving ourselves means to be also disciplined about, and even disciplined about how we respond, disciplined about how we react and perceive and cope with each other. But I'm asking you guys this question: where do you get your where do you get your standards of love from? And if it's from God, two-part question, isn't it? Where do you get your standard of love from? And if you get it from God, what have you gotten from God about love?
Cool. For me, is that it's not always going to come in the way you expect it. In every sense. And this is funny because it goes back to what I was saying about correcting in love. If I tell my partner about something he's done, that's upset me or bothered me or what have you, or if I've corrected it, that doesn't diminish the love. It doesn't negate my love for you. So I think sometimes we paint this picture, or for me personally, I painted this picture that love had to be like this. And God said no.
Wow.
He said no. It is this and this and this and this.
The whole bag.
The whole bag.
The whole shop.
The whole shebang.
That's what Jamshed said. He's not boxing up love.
You can't box it. You can't box it.
Boxing, I didn't compartmentalize and
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And God said, it's going to come in different ways. It's going to come at different times. It's going to come through different people.
And
It's
and,
gonna-
and how, sorry.
No. I was just going to say it's going to come and it don't feel nice. I was listening to a song. I can't remember what song it was. And essentially it was talking about still loving God and still blessing God, even when he's not Godding the way you want him to God, if that makes sense. Yeah. No, that's not a word. I put it in the dictionary. It's not Godding. Love doesn't always, it's as we already discussed earlier, it's not just about a feeling, but it's not going to come in the way you feel or the way you believe it should come. That doesn't mean it's not love. And so you have to get to a place where you can identify it as such and accept it as such. And that's hard to do. Yeah, that can be hard to do.
So the question I'm asking you still then is, you've answered part of it, I guess, and that's fine.
Okay.
How was God or maybe you did answer it. What did you get from God about love?
Yeah, just that. Like,
Okay. You got it. Yeah.
Like God broke down something that I thought was meant to be the thing. I'm trying to say something without saying too much. Yeah.
Before I cut you off, I don't want to mess anybody up.
No, I'm trying not to say too much. But what I thought was heading in the right direction wasn't. And God said, this isn't it. This isn't it. And so while I'm seeing other people's love flourishing around me, I'm like, this isn't, God isn't saying I don't want love for you. God isn't saying I don't want a romantic love for you. I don't want you to have a husband or a partner. He's just saying there's a certain type of person that I've got for you, and this is not it. And so when it breaks down, you feel like, oh my God, God don't love me. Oh my God, why can't I have this?
He's punishing me.
Or he's punishing me. Do you get what I mean? But if anything, that's showing, when it talks in the Bible that how you discipline your child. A father that loves his child disciplines his child.
Yeah.
This is God disciplining me. This is God loving me. If I want to show Nanaya my love, I'm going to show her through the way I protect her, through the way I discipline her. And sometimes that don't always feel nice. It don't feel nice. Hindsight is beautiful, I hope that answered the question. I can't hear you.
Sorry, not that you're going to discipline your husband. You're just saying.
No, I'm not disciplining my husband, but it's just knowing that love comes. It's not boxed in. Love comes in different ways.
Yeah, it's not coated in gold or.
Nah, definitely not.
Jamshed, how has God informed you? Oh, sorry, no. Where did you get your standard of love from? That's it, and tell us about that when it comes to how God has informed it as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes you don't consciously think of these things until you're actually asked the question. So I think I get my standard of love from a few different places. Some good, some not so good. I get them from definitely God, scripture. So not only am I a Muslim, but I'm an Ahmadi Muslim, and our kind of motto for our community is love for all, hatred for none. And that is a summation of the Quran's message. So I do definitely get my standard of love from God, but then I also get my standard of love from people that I look up to and I respect. That can be flawed at times, but I do. Culture, undoubtedly, and that's something I'm consciously trying to work on in terms of what am I getting from culture. What are some of these markers that are shifting that I actually have adopted without even knowing it? And then just kind of inspiration from life, really. But I guess in terms of what God has shown me about love, you see, they say if you sum up the message of the Quran, it's attend to your responsibilities to God and attend to your responsibilities to God's creations. And often that's kind of changed to love, and it's changed that. But attending to responsibilities is something that I've learned, that if you love somebody, you must turn up, and fulfill the responsibilities that are owed, whether that be to your parents, to your kids, to your friends, to your wife, or husband. So that takes feelings out of the equation, whether I feel like it or not. I must attend. You know, when God says things like, "Call unto me, and I will answer you," it doesn't really place a lot of kind of parameters on that. God will answer if you call. That's it. It's a it's a promise.
Yeah.
So it's kind of turning up whether you feel like it or not. Going back to Kojo's point about being self-sacrificial, in order to love in some of those ways, within those boundaries, you have to give up certain rights that you feel like you may have. You have to give rights to others. You have to be self-sacrificial and self-aware. And then Harriet made a really good point actually in the beginning of the conversation, and she said, if we have a goal here that we're trying to get to, let's both work towards that goal. And what that means is, like, if the goal is to have like a loving, peaceful household, yeah, then if something gets in the way of that, you have to be active enough to move it, like, quickly. You know, if it's an argument, if it's an insecurity, if it's an issue, be committed enough to the relationship, yeah, to work on that straight away, because it's a threat to the goal, the bigger picture. So there's something in there about staying aware, and alert, in love. It's difficult, you know. I can't lie. Yo, love is a hard thing. Like, it's really, really, really hard.
But you know what? The bar is high. When we're talking about this, if it's on a level that we can jump over every single day with our eyes closed,
yeah,
we would be a terrible set of creatures in the universe.
Yeah.
Like, for anything that we're trying to do to maintain or to improve or develop or evolve, the bar always has to be higher than what we can see. We don't get anywhere if it's just a pat on the back in the morning or a peck on the cheek. That's a high one for me, I ain't gonna lie.
I need more than that.
We need more. Really? And we don't get anywhere we don't get anywhere when it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
The last question before we go into our landing the plane is, before love, I need to.
Ooh. Can you hear me? I had to take the earpiece out. I had to beg for the charger to come back down.
No,
we could hear you. We could hear you.
These are heavy questions. But we join them as well. That's only fair.
Yeah.
Before loving, I needed to. So it's past tense.
For us.
Yeah. Because we're already there. We're already married. You get me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. You get it.
I get it.
All right. Shall I go first? All right, let me go first.
Go first.
Before loving, before Juanita, I needed to love myself. I didn't. And I needed to love myself first, which meant I didn't really know how to give it.
I think before loving, I needed to know what I was bringing in. So what stuff I was carrying. And that was in regards to attachment styles with my parents. And even with that, still feeling loved by God and feeling like I had enough to give. And my arms were open enough to receive what he was teaching me.
That's good.
Go, Harry.
Before love, I need to be prepared. Be prepared to do the work. because I feel like, and this is by no means saying that I've arrived, because I really haven't. I've done a lot of work on myself.
You have?
A lot of work on myself, yeah.
Wow.
I've done a lot of work on myself. And so, but I know there's still more to do, and I'm sure God will reveal it to me in one way or another. But I think if I'm going into a situation to love, I need to be prepared for the work that will come with it. And I have a child as well. And so that comes with other challenges. I need to be prepared for the challenge that will bring. How do I prepare for that? Only God can tell me that. Only prayer can really help me with that. I don't think there's a how to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step for that. So I just need to be prepared in my heart for that.
I love that.
Appreciate it.
Joe?
Yeah, that message, you see the message right there that says it comes from failed relationships and friendships as well.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
And that's what I alluded to when I was saying that it's come from some bad places as well, but experiences.
Yeah.
So vlogs with them, that's a really dope point.
Yeah.
And very quickly, a shout out to the Wongs as well. I saw that they said hi earlier. And I think I missed it. So shout out to them. That's big bro and big sis.
Yeah, man.
Before love, I need to submit and commit. This is an answer that do you know what? I didn't want to come here and say answers that sound like poems. I'm trying to stay away from that.
Say them.
I try to be a bit more precise,
Say them.
but it's difficult. Yeah. So submit and commit is Curtis and Jermaine that's watching. You both know that why that particular phrase is important to me. I feel like it's something that's been revealed to me, and it's an answer I use for a lot of these difficult questions. But what do I mean specifically? Submit in terms of like giving up the things that I want love to be, giving up some of the things that I'm harming my kind of potential to love in its fullest with all of the people around me and the people that I love, and committing to the process of continuously seeking after like God's ideal of that, whether it makes sense to me, whether I like it, whether it's painful or not. So submitting to it, and also submitting to the feeling of love, because for a lot of men, these feelings can be very, very alien, and they can make us very uncomfortable, which can make us then behave in ways that enters that cycle between men and women that, you know, it just doesn't work. So committing to kind of getting rid of those things and staying on the right track. I think that's what I need to do.
Thank you. I have some more smashes for you. You're going to see a phrase, and I need to finish it.
All right, we've got 5 minutes. We're going to try and do it in 5 minutes. Don't rush, but you got 5 minutes. Yeah. But these are self-reflective questions. Only answer them if you want to. Finish the sentence.
Any particular order? Should we just shout it out?
Yeah.
I am growing. Still.
You know what? I thought there was going to be a lot more than I am. Like that's yo, that's a trick question, man.
Don't feel pressure to answer them, of course. I mean,
yeah.
More.
Do you know what? I was with my cousin a couple of days ago. We went for a walk in the park here, and randomly we just started reflecting on the relationship that we have, where we've come from in terms of family, because we know each other so well, and we just both decided that we're actually very blessed. That we're grateful for. You know, there's a lot of things that I am grateful for. So I'm blessed.
I'm blessed.
I have.
Should I go first on this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Incredible people in my life.
I was thinking, I have what I need. That's it.
That's a big statement. I respect that. That's a very big statement.
I have it. Do I want more? Possibly, but
That's what I was gonna say. Close the laptop. No more online shopping.
right, come on.
Yeah.
I have what I need.
I want.
Where's my laptop?
Amazon wish list, yeah.
mate. Listen, this is a
All right, let's go to the next one.
Next.
Jam, you want to answer this one?
Jam, I would.
All right,
I'm good.
nothing.
Wow. I need to be a little bit more easy on myself. Yeah. To be a little bit lighter. Yeah. I need to be a little bit lighter with myself, just a tiny bit.
Yeah. Pat yourself on the back, innit?
Yeah.
I will. Jam.
I will continue on. I will march on. Yeah, man, I'm not done. I'm gonna keep going.
That's good. I will continue to be bold. I said at the start of this year I'm gonna be bold, and I've already seen what we're coming into March. Things that I've done that have required me to be bold. This being one of them.
Glad to be a part of it.
That's it. Just to be bold. Continue to be bold.
The last one.
So after much reflection and debate on this topic, just end with this one for us.
For me, it's peace.
Jam, you're on mute, Jam. But Harry, you go.
Yeah, I was saying for me, it's peace. Peace with where I'm at. Peace with who I am. Peace with what God has for me and what He hasn't yet revealed to me. And being content with that, accepting that. Yeah. That's peace, yeah.
I made a commitment a really long time ago that if anybody asks me directly what love is, I'm going to say God. And if anybody asks me what God is, I'll say love. So love is God.
That's it.
Yeah.
Guys, I just want to thank you for your time. I'm going to say every time, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart personally, that I think I could speak for Juanita as well, that you guys will do well. Although we are married so long, you will do better than us, because the knowledge and wisdom that you guys have now, all the better centered around God, is a lot more than Juanita and I ever had.
Yeah,
100 miles and 100 tons more. And I just can't see why you wouldn't do well. And we're there for you. And the thing is, you are also there for us. And we're just grateful that you came on. It's bravery that it takes to really encourage, that it takes to come on a show like this and kind of bear yourself a little bit. And we hope that there's a part 2 and 3 and 4. But even with Harriet, we know you got a nice little business running on, and we want to be a part of that too. And this is a platform for you. Please tell us what you do again.
Yep.
And where we can find you, and we want to spell it right.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's at I am Harriet Awasome.
Let's
do that.
Right. Let's get that right. Let's get that right.
Get the glasses on. I am Harriet Awasome.
That's it. I've just started a new series. Well, first of all, I'll tell you what I do. So I'm an empowerment career and life coach. And I work predominantly with women, but I can work with anybody. And just about finding, I think this thing about finding balance between who you are and what you do. Sometimes we can get a little bit overwhelmed about the careers that we want to go into. And I don't think you can talk about career without talking about life and vice versa. So I help people through that. And I've just started a new series called the Winning Women Wednesdays. Don't ask me why I did that. Juanita, I will be calling you, so look out for that.
Make sure the braids are fresh before you call me, though.
Let me know. But it's obviously empower, inspire, and support. And I believe, and I'm praying that this platform women and what they feel it means to win for them, because it means different things to different people.
Yes.
So yeah.
So,
and it's every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks on a Wednesday.
Every 2 weeks on a Wednesday, 8:30. The next one is next week, Wednesday, the 3rd. I've got my first guest with me. We're talking about healing, what the importance of healing is. How does that impact you in life and in your career as a woman? So that will be on Wednesday. And I'm also going to invite some guys on there as well. So Jam, Curtis, I'll be calling out for you as well. Because I think it's good to have a male perspective on some of the things that women go through. So good to have you guys on there as well.
This sounds good.
Yeah.
And just before I go to Jam, Harriet, like if I was running a business, if I want to set up a business or launch my online career, you support people with that process and the coaching that is needed to go with it. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I know people are listening. I know everyone's moving online.
Yeah.
So coming to you, you know.
Yeah, just shout me, Yeah, listen, I'm up to talking to anyone. So I'm not saying buy no packages or nothing. Just come and talk to me. Let's talk, because I can help you either way. So just give me a shout. And I'll be here to help you.
Appreciate. Jam, I don't know if there's any page or you want to promote, or you just calm. I don't know. You tell us what you want to. If you can spell it right, it'd be good.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So you asked who I am and where to follow me. Jamshed Ahmad. I work in policy, so
Ahmad.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to
how do we spell that?
Create. I'll get to that in 2 seconds. But I'm trying to be in a space where I'm learning how to affect change in the best way. So I work on policy for the government. I also Jermaine's watching, so I have to say this. I'm a spoken word artist. I have some other creative talents in terms of documentary filmmaking and photography. In terms of where to find me, you can't at the moment. I'm currently taking a bit of a break from socials, and there's no like values attached there. Like, look at me, I'm literally, it's best for me right now not to be on socials while I build. But there will, God willing, be some stuff in the future that maybe I will promote. But at the moment, just on just catch me on this platform or
so the only way that we're really gonna get the deep on Jamshed is when he appears on the part 2. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, definitely.
I just want to thank you all, guys. Check us out. Well, our next show is on Tuesday.
Got on.
Shame. Come on, we've got to get on the page. Our next show is Meet the Thorpes. Oh, we've got a 5-part series, Meet the Thorpes, a lovely couple. They feature quite a lot on, or they're quite big on TikTok and Instagram. They're funny. They're on YouTube. Meet the Thorpes. Every Tuesday in March at 7:30 p.m. on this channel and Little Black Book channel, either one. Thank you for listening and showing your support and love.
Just a bit more. The thoughts are not going to just be entertaining us with laughs.
No.
At all. We're looking at endurance this week with the Thorpes. And we've got some other great stuff coming in the future. So stay tuned. And we've also got some stuff that you've missed. So go back on our YouTube channel, which is This Is Marriage UK, just to find the old content. There was some gems last week with Yasmin talking about her trauma marriage story and how She's worked at trauma through love in her marriage. Obviously had on the hype of dating with Temi. We had Eddie on the other day talking about I am married and what that entails. We had Salone Ajewole on giving us a word of encouragement from a psychotherapist, just telling us how to do life in this time.
Wow.
We've had Michael Ajayi on before, talking about God sent a curveball. And we've also had SC.Wellbeing, who are both professional therapists, and they spoke about marriage won't make you happy. I've given you enough on one more, How to Develop Unity by PG London. So there's a lot for you to catch up on, and for you to just immerse and embrace and just understand and just do some self-reflection. So we've given you enough to do in COVID.
Yeah,
The next
Amazing.
2 weeks. Thank you guys for your time.
Listen,
thank you both.
guys,
Man.
Winita, speaking of love, just to remind, I love you guys, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. And I can't wait to see you guys after this COVID stuff is done. Just for everyone watching, these guys are the real deal. When I say mentor and friends, these are really it's not terms I throw around lightly. You guys are incredible.
Yeah,
Bro,
definitely.
Bro. And because you're South African, you mean all the more to me, bro.
Trust.
Down the road.
Harriet, sorry, but
No, Harriet is family from there. You get me?
Thanks.
So, Harry, we love you, man.
Yeah, I love you guys so much. Like, I really, it's been a pleasure and a privilege just to see how this ministry has grown. Seriously, it's been such a privilege, and I'm so thankful and grateful to be a part of it. And I love you guys so much, so much. I support you all the way. 100%. Don't make me bawl on here now, please.
Everything gonna run off.
So much as well, man. I'm serious. But no, you guys are doing amazing. Keep doing it.
100%.
And keep just keep pushing forward, man.
Thank you. Praise God. We just want to thank the South England Conference Youth Ministry for having us today and allowing us to talk about such a topic that is in our very fiber. So thank you.
Real. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you on Tuesday night. God bless.
God bless you guys. Take care.
Hey there, guys. Don't leave yet. We'll be in the back.
Right.